Guys, so we have been talking about the five themes of geography and how they relate to our world and how we plan on using those five themes of geography to help us learn more about our world and to learn about social studies and how to organize all of the information that we get about the different locations and places that we're going to learn about. So we already talked about location and how there are two types of location. There's relative location and there's absolute location. And today we're going to talk about two more themes of geography: place and then also region. The reason why we start with location, place, and region is because those three tend to get mixed up with each other, especially place and location. So we are, hopefully by the end of this video, you will have a better understanding about the difference, especially between place and location. So place is the human and non-human features of a given location. And there are two types of ways to organize place. There's the human characteristic side. So the two questions that you need to ask yourself about place is, what is it like there? If you went there, what is it like there? What do you see? What do you hear? What is it like there? And what kind of place is it? And to answer those questions, there's two ways to look at it. There's the human, and then there's also the physical, the non-human side of it. So the human characteristics are, what are the main languages? What are their customs? Their culture? What are their beliefs? How many people live there? How many people work there? What kind of work do they do? I know in a city you wouldn't have a lot of farmers living in a city, so in that place you would have a lot of maybe businessmen, businesswomen. You might have a lot of people who own stores or work at stores or things like that, but you wouldn't have a lot of farmers. Whereas here in Chambersburg, we would have a lot more farmers than you would assume you would have in the city, because that is our place. Sorry guys, the lights just went out. Just turn them on. So when we're thinking about human characteristics, that's what we're thinking about. We are thinking about what parts of the human is there. So what are the humans doing? What are they working? What are they doing for fun? I think of the beach. Here in this place of Chambersburg, we don't have a lot of surfers. We might have some, but we don't have a lot of surfers. But you go to a place in Hawaii, you might have more surfers, because that's what the humans do. The second type of a way to define a place is the physical characteristics. And this one's a little bit easier because this is like the landforms, the climate, the vegetation, the wildlife, the animals that live there, the type of soil. I know when you get into science and you learn about the different types of soil and the different horizons of soil, and you're going to learn about that when you get in science. But soil is composed of different types of stuff. It might have clay in it. It might have sand in it. I know at the beach, the soil closer to the beach is more sandy. It's sandier than here in Chambersburg. Some areas might be a little bit more rocky. So the type of soil, and also with the type of soil comes the different types of plants that people can grow, because or if you don't, I'm telling you now, certain plants can only grow in certain soil, and they need certain nutrients to grow, and if that's not in the soil, they're not going to grow there. So the physical characteristics are more of the earth that is there, whereas the human is more of the humans, what they're doing, what they're thinking, what they're working, what they do for fun, what they do, their beliefs, their languages, their religions, their culture, their clothes that they wear. That makes a place unique for that area compared to a different place. Now, the difference between place and location is that place is just describing the human and the physical of a certain area, whereas a location is you're giving me where something is located. And I hate to use the word located when I'm trying to define location, but I guess I'm going to just have to use bad English. For location, you're telling me where something is at. You're telling me where it is at. Whereas place, you're telling me, you're describing what that place is. So you could be describing a location, but when you start describing the human and the physical characteristics of a location, when you start describing it, you are then giving me the place. Regions, there are many different ways to organize regions, and regions are mainly are to be able to clump together a whole bunch of places with similar characteristics. So I'm going to go through different types of regions through the PowerPoint. The first one is by location. So like you can say we live, and if you look at Pennsylvania, we are in what location? Northeast. If you're living in North Carolina, like I was in high school and middle school, I was in the southeast. So one region that we have within our United States is by location, and that's just, the regions are defined by where your state is located. Again, you'll see another breakup of it without the states. And again, these regions are clumped together because they have similar places. I don't want to say that they're exactly the same, but they're clumped together for a similar reason. So for like the Northeast, we're clumped together because we're in the northeast area of the United States of America. So for this, you'll see here. Now, I do want to point out, if you look at Alaska and Hawaii, and I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm a horrible pronouncer of words, and I'm sorry. When you talk about contiguous, means that they're connected. So if it's non-contiguous, that means that they're not connected. Alaska is not connected to another United States land. They're connected to Canada. And even Hawaii is an island in the Pacific Ocean. So they're not touching the other 48 states, and that's what non-contiguous means. You can also have a region of religions. Now, in the United States, there's no official religion. So it's not like we are all Catholics, or we're all Baptists, or we're all Presbyterians, or we're all, there's a million other religions that I could say here. But you can see, based off of this map, that you can see where some of the states, it seems like most people are. So let's pick, like, you look in the southeast. It looks like a lot of them are Baptists, that yellow color. So you see that with Baptists. So you can organize a region by your religion. Now remember, South Carolina, North Carolina, that area was part of the southeast region, but they also can be part of the region of the for religion of being Baptist. And there's also ethnic groups. Ethnic groups are groups that are your ancestors came from. So for me, on my mother's side, I'm Italian, And on my father's side, I'm Mexican. So my ethnicity, my ethnic groups are Italian and Mexican. So when you talk about I'm American, that's my nationality. I am an American. I am born here, bred here. I am an American. But my background, where my parents came from Italy and came from Mexico. So that's my ethnic group. Whereas my nationality is American. My ethnic group is Italian and Mexican. And I hope that makes sense. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get into cultures and stuff like that. But you can also organize by ethnic groups. So you can see the Southeast region is mainly, you can read the map, you can see. Now, you do see that third one, it says American. You can see that that's not American like our nationality. That's more of the Native Americans who were here before settlers came from Europe. You can also break up it by environment. So you can see we live in the Appalachian Mountains, and if you've ever been hiking around here, you've been on the Appalachian Mountain, or you might have even been on the trail. So you can also do a region by the environmental areas. You can also do political, and this is the one that we will use a lot. And political means that it's under a government. So you have Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a region because it is under the similar characteristics. In this case, it is a government that we are all under in Pennsylvania, which makes us a region. You could also do by vegetation. When you hear vegetation, you should hear plants. Vegetation, plants. You could also say flora, because flora is plants, and I think of that like almost like flower, flora, flora. Vegetation, flora, plants. So you can look at this and you can see, oh, we have the different types of forests, and we're going to go over this about the different vegetation zones and how they line up with the climate zones. But I just want you to know that that's another way that we can organize our into regions, the United States, by climate and by different resources, our natural resources or what we grow. So you can see you can organize them by what is grown there. Can you belong to one more than one region? And we kind of talked about this. We did talk about this. So I want you to think about that, okay?